So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to just real quick go through what the church has been telling us, and then let's have some dialogue about this, okay? So now St. John Paul II wrote the document about the new evangelization. In truth, he was building on the documents from the Second Vatican Council on evangelization in the modern world is the name of the English translation of the document from the Second Vatican Council. What Pope John Paul at the time emphasized, and this is the core of that entire document of the new evangelization. We cannot change the content, right? We know what we believe, but we absolutely could look at new ways of expression. Repurposing the gospel is how it's phrased in that document, right? And so evangelization, the content doesn't change, but it can be new in its ardor, methods, and expression. Ardor, if you don't know what that word means, ardor is a fancy term for like passion, enthusiasm, excitement. That's what the word ardor means. And so it can be new, and in its methods, which is a huge part, its expression, meaning what it looks like. From the Second Vatican Council, as we looked at the documents that said how the church is to interact both with the world, but internally and externally. What is our mission? What is our purpose? In every age, it's our responsibility to read the signs of the times. What are the signs of the times today? Like, what's your observation of what the world thinks about church? You all live in this world. What's today's signs of the times?
Too slow, unnecessary.
The church is too slow, unnecessary.
I don't have to go to a building to worship God or believe in God.
Don't need to go to a building to worship God. How does today's world consume information? Technology, we could just broaden it technology, right? Primarily. But if you're under 30, almost exclusively, right? They don't read newspapers. Older people still read newspapers, but the younger people don't. They don't even read it online. They don't even read the newspapers online, right? Podcasts, blogs, that's where the young people are living. What about people who are like, let's say 30 to 50? What is their reality today? What's their new signs of the times? If you would say, well, here's how people 30 to 50 live, what does that look like? Their kids have brought them to technology out of necessity, but they still kind of like reading a newspaper or reading a book. Barnes & Noble is still making a lot of money on that age group, right? Because why would you read a book on an iPad? I still want the book. I still want to highlight. I still want to mark up a book. And a lot of conversation, right? They love to get together. They love to get together. Unfortunately, it's also the age of people who have kids involved in 1,000 things. Maybe not as you get closer to 50, but certainly in the 30s and 40s. They're the parents of all those kids who are just chasing all over the place. And they want a respite. What do they worry about? What is their pain? What is their worry, their concern? What are they anxious about? It's the number one cause of divorce in America. Money. By a long shot, by the way. It's not infidelity. It's money. And usually it's one person spending it and the other doesn't like it, or they're both spending it and they're living way beyond their means. And now they're drowning in debt.
It's instant gratification.
That's right. That's right. And what did the younger generation now, those millennials and younger, what have they learned about instant gratification?
That's all they know.
It's all they know. Including right down to their phones. You should always just keep getting a new phone. It is what Pope Benedict originally termed the disposable generation. And that, by the way, has infiltrated relationships, right? People are struggling, younger people in particular, to be in authentic relationship because I can just go get another one of you, or now because my brain has been trained by an app, I can just swipe left. That is purely superficial. It is completely based on instant impression. Nope, that person has nothing to offer, move on to the next one. How shallow is that? Right? So that's the signs of the times. We could get into senior citizens too, right? Because they have a whole, would they relate to some of this? Some, but really they're dealing with a whole different thing, right? They're worried about all their kids and grandkids who are living that way. But they're also worried about other stages of life, right? That's the signs of the times. Now go back to the model of the way we're doing church. How are we responding to that? Which is why when I say I get consolidations, but I don't think that's the real source of the problem. Our own church told us, by the way, this was 1963, and we're still struggling to even understand this. The church by its nature is missionary, not stationary. Every word in a church document is put there for a very specific purpose. What does missionary mean, or at least infer? Do they come to you or do you go out? You go to them. Where does most activities in a church take place? At the church. How many of your parishes have acquired space in a strip mall or something to do programming out closer to their neighborhoods? But in 1964, the church, by its very nature, is missionary. We should look more like a MASH unit, always ready to adapt and adjust. That's pretty much the reputation of the church, though, right? We're always willing to adapt and adjust. Well, don't start laughing out loud. Keep a little of it to yourself, right? But this is not my opinion. I'm telling you what the church has been telling us to do.